I'm still sick, so no video, but we have multiple good news stories today for Tesla, so let's go through everything. So Tesla is successfully, it appears, is working on this next big move. The Indian government is actively working to streamline approvals for Tesla to make potential entry into the country, aiming to have all necessary clearances in place by January 2024, so in just a few months. Ministries and government departments have been tasked with resolving any differences with Tesla to facilitate the announcement of Tesla's manufacturing plans in India as soon as possible. So it does seem that it is actually moving forward and that India is actually actively working on getting Tesla to come to India, and perhaps it is willing to compromise a little bit as well, which before seemingly it wasn't willing to do. And that's a big change. We also know that India has extremely high import taxes for vehicles ranging from 60 to 100%, which is one reason why Tesla has not entered this market yet. Tesla wanted to try the market first, but the government did not let Tesla test the market without having Tesla pay these import taxes in full. Tesla wanted to have an exemption, but the government didn't give it to Tesla. But now the government is saying that a new category may be introduced in the import policy to ensure that clean energy driven vehicles are taxed lower. So very clearly, progress is being made here. And I, of course, overall say that this is great news, and Tesla stock bulls will generally agree. And here we got some more good news from China this time. It's about the delivery numbers based on the insurance data, and the number is 14,000, which makes week number 5 in the quarter clearly the best so far when comparing to these previous quarter. So this is good news. There is, of course, some catching up to do, but it is very possible for Tesla to have a record quarter in China, especially now that we are hearing that Tesla is actually going to increase the prices in China. That's potentially signaling stronger demand, unless it's going to be a price increase of like $200. And it's not just me saying that China had strong deliveries. Gary said that China reported a very strong 14,000 insurance registrations. So obviously he's happy. We'll find out tomorrow how many of these were refresh Model 3s. And we do have an official confirmation from Tesla China that indeed they are actually planning to increase the price of the Model Y further in China. I translated this with Google Translate, and it did not specify exactly by how much they are planning to increase the price, but they increased the performance version by about 2,000 USD, very roughly 14,000 RMB. And they said, based on this Google translation, that they are planning to increase other trims accordingly. Now, I'm not sure what that means exactly. Maybe it's a Google Translate error of some sort, but accordingly, I would assume would mean roughly by a similar amount. So I would expect the price to increase by at least more than $1,000 for each trim, which would be, I would say, a substantial increase. But it could also just be Tesla playing some mind games here. Maybe they will just end up increasing the price by $250 or something like that, like they have done before, which I would not really see as an indication of much stronger demand. If anything, it could just be Tesla playing some tricks and using psychology to increase sales. But if the price increase is more than $250, then yeah, I say demand is certainly stronger now. Now also remember that the Model Y did have a bit of an update, so maybe that's creating more demand in China. Troy says pre-announcing an upcoming price hike would increase sales before that. Also, private dealerships in China known as scalpers buy new Teslas to resell them when the price is higher. This would encourage them to buy too. This looks like a calculated move. Tesla's official reason for the price increase to consumers, I think, does make sense. Tesla is saying that the Model Y has now been updated, so these extra features obviously are more valuable to customers, so therefore the vehicle is going to be more expensive now. For example, the wheels and interior lighting. And the price, they say, is going to go up on November 9th. James, though, says that it sounds like it may be a token price increase as suspected. Still, we will take it, but this won't move the needle on profit. Tesla has a new visitor lobby in Giga Berlin, and it looks amazing. Pretty cool. We have more good news here. Remember that Megapack battery fire that happened fairly recently? And if that was a problem with a Tesla Megapack, and if it's widespread, that could have been a bit of an issue, but if it's just a one-time thing, okay, not really a problem. Tesla makes a lot of Megapacks, so eventually that will happen. That's expected, really, but it's actually much better than whatever we could have hoped for. It is now known that the fire actually ignited on the grid site and not within a Megapack, the analysis found. The fault initially occurred on the AC side, and then the fault propagated to the battery modules within the Megapack. So the Megapacks are not to be blamed at all. That's really good news. Here's a bit more good news, if you can actually call it that. Lucid has finally announced that they will adopt Tesla's charging standard starting in 2025. That's assuming that they don't go completely bankrupt by then. So yeah, but Lucid also does not have that many vehicles out there, so it's not like it's going to make a huge difference anyway. But for Lucid customers, assuming that Lucid is still around by then, that will make a huge difference. Tesla North America supercharger count is over 15,000, but Lucid all-time global deliveries stand at, well, 8,800-ish. Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas released a new Tesla stock note. Tesla at $215. Where's the next price move? While Tesla may have achieved its iPhone moment, it has yet to reach the App Store moment, which is critical to unlocking high margin, high multiple, highly recurring revenue. We got delivered numbers from Japan. It's a tiny number. Now, if you remember, Tesla ran an advertising campaign in at least one Japanese airport, and we are not really seeing high sales yet. But also remember that the first month of the quarter in Japan typically is fairly slow. So let's see what happens next month, and then we can evaluate the whole quarter. If the whole quarter does significantly better than before, then we will see, yeah, that advertising campaign actually worked. Pretty much almost every market in Europe has now reported October sales, but there are still some small countries that have not reported, and Roland expects another 2,000 sales from these countries, so it's safe to say that October actually will be the best first month of the quarter ever. Once it is complete. So if things go as Roland says, then we should have a new first month record here. But looking at that trend, even though each quarter we had the best first month ever, pretty much, each quarter actually ended up with less deliveries in total. So we can't make any strong conclusions right now. We need to wait for the whole quarter really to finish to really know for sure what's going to happen. This data is just, it's not very reliable based on what we have seen before. But there is one big difference this time, and that is that we have the refresh Model 3. So CNBC actually has this very interesting story about GM's Cruz, and basically we found out that yes, indeed, Cruz confirmed that robotaxis rely on human assistance every 4 to 5 miles, basically. So yeah, do you think there is more that they are not telling us? Cruz, though, says that 98% of sessions are answered within 3 seconds. So then the vehicle requires an intervention, basically, or human assistance, which happens, let's say, once every, let's be generous, let's say once every 5 miles only. Supposedly 98% of these are answered within 3 seconds, but still, why do you require that interaction? It's because the system is just not that good yet. But when you think about it, okay, so if a car requires you to intervene, and if it's a critical situation, and if you intervene, let's say within 2 seconds, but the decision had to be made in 1/10 of a second because, you know, it's an emergency. Yeah, that to me also doesn't. I mean, that the answer here that more than 98% of sessions are answered within 3 seconds. They said it somehow to supposedly reassure us. That's not really reassuring to me. They basically have a lot of interventions is what they are saying. And for that says GM Cruz's level 4 self-driving system seems to require more human input than Tesla's level 2 system. And that's of course only while functioning in tiny areas where they spent so much time mapping every single inch of these areas, and it still doesn't really fully work. I want to thank for all the kind comments wishing me good health and speedy recovery. I actually do feel a lot better today than yesterday. Yesterday I still felt like dying. Today I feel like it's manageable. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.